In this video, I'm going to talk about 10 things that I have learned throughout my career. Number one, I want to talk about decisions and how incredibly important every decision you make and the impact that that decision has on the outcome of your life. Right out of high school, I went to work in a factory. I was a potato chip person and was given the opportunity to look at something that I didn't understand, didn't know anything about, but I was open-minded enough to make the decision to look. All of a sudden, I saw the world completely differently from that one decision. Of course, all the people that you're around have their own opinions about what it is that you're doing, and you can make the decision to go into the fetal position and buy into all the negative and the naysayers, because I'm convinced of this. When you're really onto something, it's when most people don't see it, right? That's when you're really onto something. And that's the experience I had. I mean, my friends, my family, my coworkers, everybody was telling me that I am crazy, that this will never work. But I made the decision to stay focused. I made the decision to not even let all that negative input come in. One of the keys there is making sure that you stay plugged in. You stay focused and stay plugged in to keep the positive overpowering the negative, because there's negative in everything. So number two, I want to talk about the secret of sales. Don't sell, right? Because people feel it and sense it when you're really trying to sell. Really be doing something, representing something that you truly believe in. Because if you're trying to sell something that you don't really believe in, you're trying to essentially manipulate or talk somebody into something that maybe not be in their best interest. So one of the keys to my success is you have to believe, right? You have to believe in what it is you're doing, selling, or talking about. I always talk about people by people. It's your passion, your posture, belief, your enthusiasm about what it is you're doing that attracts or influences others. The other thing that I think is incredibly important when it comes to this is you need to listen. One of the big misnomers, let's call it, people think selling is all about just keep hammering on that person. I find that if you listen, number one, number two, ask questions to get them talking, because people buy from people that they like. And when you get people talking about themselves and about their interests, you learn by listening, right? And they think, wow, I really love this guy. He's just so personable. I had such a great conversation with him. So if you can get the person engaged, believe in what it is that you're doing or talking about or whatever it is you're selling, and remember to listen and ask questions. So point number three, patience. Sometimes going slower can actually be faster. I mean, one of the challenges that so many people have is they want overnight success. It rarely happens. I mean, literally all the stars need to align and you need to take massive action for that to happen. And I'm telling you, those stories are few or far between. If you can stay focused, if you can stay consistent in doing the activities that are necessary, that continue to move you forward. I remember hearing this story from Earl Nightingale, and it was this traveler says, you know, how do I get to Mount Olympus? And this wise man said, just make sure every step you take is in that direction and you'll eventually get there. Don't let yourself get distracted by shiny objects. I remember when I first got involved in the industry, and I was doing pretty well. I was full-time, working with some new people. The success that I was experiencing in this business, they wanted that. We're like 6 months into it, and they're like, man, I really thought I'd be making more money by now. I'm just really, really discouraged and frustrated. And I said, well, let me ask you, how long have you been at your job? And they said, well, I've been there for like 15 years. And I said, well, how much money are you making? They told me, and I said, you've been doing that for 15 years and you haven't hit your goal. You got to give this an opportunity to grow, doing the things you know you need to do when you don't feel like doing it, not expecting overnight success, but give yourself, because sometimes you have to become worth it. It's all interconnected. Number four is I want to talk about your level of effort. What are you willing to do and do it consistently for a long enough period of time? Some people, they're like, I will do anything to make the money you're making. And I'm like, no, you won't. And they're like, yes, I will. I would do anything to make the kind of money you're making. And then I share with them what I've done, and then they, oh, really? See, every master was once a disaster. People had no idea. The people, they see the final project, the final result, but they have no idea all the setbacks and the disappointments and the long hours and hard work it took to get there. You have to be willing to do that. If you're not willing to do that, you're never going to get it. In your own mind, make the decision that you're going to do the work versus just want the reward and hope it happens. You have to do the work. And in many cases, that work is even going to be more, whatever you may have in your mind, it's going to be more than that. You have to go the extra mile. Okay, number 5, I want to talk about the power of the mastermind. Somebody once said to me, if you're the smartest person in a room, you're not going to learn. I mean, if you think you know everything, you're not going to grow. The key is surrounding yourself with people that have strength in your weakness. Be honest with yourself. What is your real strength? What is the most valuable asset that you have? Maybe it's communication, maybe it's focus or consistency or teaching, whatever it is. Understand and figure out what is your strength, and then what is your weakness. That's equally as important. And don't make the mistake of thinking you're strong, or for that matter, even wanting to be an expert and mastering your weakness. That's not what it's about. Play to your strengths. Surround yourself with the mastermind principle with people that have strengths in your weaknesses. I mean, if you look at any really, really great person, they've surrounded themselves with really great people and people that have strengths in their weaknesses. One of the mistakes what people make is they think they need to know everything and be the best at everything. You don't. Be the best at the thing that you're best at and make up the difference with the mastermind principle. Number 6, breaking through your own limitations. We all have a set of beliefs, and those beliefs are basically forged through our experiences, the people that we hang around with, the things that we've done, and we kind of get an expectation, or let's say we set a limitation of what we think that we can accomplish. And then someone comes along who opens that thought process up to raising that limitation. I'm part of this mastermind group. There's probably like 60 or 70 of us working together with Eric Worre with GoPro. And we were at an in-person event. He talked about every single person in here with what's going on in the world. And if you make good decisions and act smart, every single person in this room should be worth $100 million in the next 10 years. That just blew my mind. That was so far beyond what my expectation was. But I left that with the evidence provided. I changed my belief to where now that is my goal. My goal used to be worth 10 million. Now I've raised it to 100 million, and I can tell you I'm on my way. Number 7 is sorting through the bullshit. Everybody has got something that they're telling you is what you need to do. Maybe it's a stock you need to buy, or they need to do this, or they need to do that. And when people talk with posture and excitement, you tend to believe them. One of the keys to success is not buying everyone's story. Listen, right? But then step back and really evaluate the validity of that, because here's what I can tell you. There's always going to be another opportunity, another stock to buy, another company to invest in, another this or another that. And if you're jumping at everything, right, you're never going to get anywhere. So again, coming back to slow down, to speed up, take the time to do the due diligence. Don't buy everybody's story. Believe only half of what you see and none of what you hear, right? There's a difference between skepticism and negative. Negative, nobody likes that. Somebody that's skeptical, they're waiting for you to convince them of different. But if you're too easy to convince, you're going to get led down a lot of bad roads that are going to be costly. Okay, number 8. In many cases, all you need to do is just pick up the pace, right? We're looking for this breakthrough. We're looking for this magic tool, something that helps us have more success. In many cases, all it is you're doing everything right. You just need to do a lot more of it. If you're involved in the network space as I am, one of the things that is absolutely key, you want to be doing the things you want your team to be doing. Well, the only thing that'll grow any of our businesses, it's new people. It's prospecting, right? And so many times, if you want to grow your new business, rather than trying to make someone else do it, set that example. When it comes down to success, it's not about 100 different things. Jim Rohn says most everything in life can be broke down to about a half a dozen things that really make a difference. The key is spend the time on those half a dozen things. Focus on the things that really matter. And if you want to have more success, just do more of them. Okay, number 9, investing. Investing in yourself, investing in your business, investing in your people. When I first entered this industry, I was excited but I didn't have the rock solid belief that I have today, that I absolutely know that this is the best way to make a living. It gives you the freedom, and it gives you the recognition, it gives you the income. But when I first got started, I was excited, but I was also fragile. Little things could happen and I would just be like, devastated. But not only that, I was afraid to invest in anything because I didn't know if it was for sure real or not. I was excited, it all looked great. But when I got involved in my second business, and now I understood things a little bit more, one of the major differences in the level of success I had, investing in myself, but more importantly, I was investing in the business, whether that's hotel rooms or whether that's meetings, all kinds of different things, whatever your business might be. Kind of like Earl Nightingale, one of my very, very favorite, he says it's like standing in front of the cold stove and say, give me some heat and then I'll go gather some wood. No, the wood comes first. It's about investing to get that return. Again, I'm not talking about investing in a stock, although yes, you can do that if you do it right, but I'm talking about investing in your business, investing in people, investing in yourself, but that return doesn't come immediately. It's a compounding effect. Number 10, don't read your own press releases. What I mean by that is stay humble. A lot of people struggle with this, especially if they have a level of success that they didn't think was even possible, or maybe they thought was possible. When they achieved it, they just thought they were all that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have an ego. Ego is healthy, arrogance is not. When you get to that point where you think you're all that, one of two things will typically happen. You'll either be humbled and learn the lesson, or you'll crash and burn. If you can learn to be grateful, if you can learn to share recognition, right? It's not about you, it's about others. Having that right attitude, that right mindset, never forget where you've come from.